Hey guys, this is going to be a very special video. This is going to be baby number two's name reveal and name origins because I'm not going to get around to doing a fancy video. So, our baby's name is going to be Emerald Kathleen, and I guess I'll talk about the middle name first because it will be a little bit quicker to talk about. Originally, Ben wanted all of our girls to have the middle name Rose because all of his sisters and his mom, all of their middle name is Rose, and I said no. So Molly's middle name is Rose, but I said I do not want any of our other girls to have the middle name Rose because I love names and that would like cut my creativity in half, which is why I didn't want to do it. And I'm okay with all the boys having the same middle name. Like, I am totally okay with that because that's a tradition that goes back many generations in his family, and I'm totally cool with that, but not for the girls. So I was like, let's compromise and do a flower theme. And I tried to find a flower name that I liked that fit with Emerald because we had her name picked out. It just sort of happened. It wasn't like, hey, what do you think of this name? I don't even know how it happened, but it happened. It's been one of my favorite names for a long time since I have found out about it. And I never actually considered using it for my children until it just happened and Ben happened to like it because we both like names that are uncommon. A lot of his family members have uncommon names, and he wanted to continue that tradition, and so did I because I love names that are like not super duper common. I decided to start looking for a flower name that would fit, and the most obvious one is Lily, but I don't actually want to use Lily as a middle name. I see it more as a first name. This was long before we got pregnant. This was like, I want to have her name ready when we have another girl. So my actual first one that I really liked that I wanted to do was Olive. I wanted it to be Emerald Olive. But that's actually way too much green, and Ben hated it. So I was like, okay. And then I thought about maybe Ivy, or maybe Jade, or Jasmine. And I was just like, I don't even know. And then eventually I decided on Azalea. And when I brought it up to Ben, he said he didn't like it, but he would like have to think about it. And then, like, no joke, the night before we found out we were having a girl, he just randomly was like, hey, how about Kathleen for her middle name? And I was like, okay. Oh, by the way, Kathleen is my middle name. That's why it's her middle name. That's why it's not a flower. So he said he didn't want to use Azalea, and the reason was because he said it sounded like we were trying too hard to do a flower theme, and I agreed, because it was really hard to come up with one that like actually flowed well and fit and sounded really, really convincing. And so he said, I know you've been wanting to do this the whole time, so you can go ahead and use your middle name as her middle name. And I said, yes! And I actually love how it sounds. It sounds so nice. I like that even though Emerald is such a different name from Molly, that it also sounds old-fashioned, just like Molly Rose sounds old-fashioned. So does Emerald Kathleen. I love, love, love that. So anyway, let's talk about the first name and how we came up with the name Emerald. I got the name from a website. It's actually a website that no longer exists. It's a website that was called Make a Child Smile. There's actually another organization that does still exist. I don't know how active it is. There's one in the US, it's called Hugs and Hope, and there's also one in the United Kingdom that is called Post Pals. And what it is, it's an organization that features children that have an illness or have a diagnosis, some medical condition that means that they are in the hospital a lot. So it's usually cancer, or sometimes they have just other conditions that mean they're in the hospital a lot. And this organization will assign them a P.O. box, and then you can send them cards and letters and gifts and things in the mail to help their hospital stay suck a little bit less. And it features the child, of course, and it has a picture of them, and then it has like their diagnosis and a little bit about them, and at least Post Pals is also kind of like in a journal format so they can post updates as they happen. Post Pals is definitely the most active out of all of these, and Make a Child Smile no longer exists. They lost their funding when the stock market crashed. That's where I actually got the name from. So I was just like looking through all the names and everything, and then there was a girl that was featured that had cancer. Her name was Emerald, and she was in her teens. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. I've never heard of Emerald being used as a name before. I mean, it makes sense because like Diamond and Ruby and Crystal and all those are names that people use all the time. They're really popular, but I've never heard Emerald used as a name before. And so I was like, I love it. And so I clicked on her picture and everything. I read about her, and she just looked really cool. And I was like, man, that's an awesome name. I really like that name. And I liked it so much that I gave it to one of the people in the big story in my head. Like, that's how much I loved the name. And like I said, it just sort of happened. I said it, and Ben liked it, and we have had a very hard time agreeing on girls' names. And so when he said he liked it, I was like, boom, snatch, it's ours. And it was our second girl's name. This whole pregnancy, ever since I found out I was pregnant, we have referred to this baby as Emerald and as a girl. And we both really, really hoped this baby was a girl because we want our first two children, especially being that close in age, to be the same sex, and they are, and I was so, so happy about that. So yes, I've got Emerald abiding inside of me right now, and I'm so glad that I can finally say her name now. So that's where her name comes from, and her middle name is my middle name. And I was named after my aunt. So that's pretty much it. And if you want to watch Molly's name origin video, because I did make one, it's really long and rambling because it's back when I did one takes, you can find it down there in the description box. But it comes from a very different place than Molly's name. But it's still one of my favorites. It's also a name that I brought to the table. So yeah, we're gonna have Emerald in a few months join our family, and I'm so excited. So I will talk to you guys next week. Bye bye.